Welcome, I'm Kenneth Andre, Tenjutsu Master and Mystic Messenger. Everything that I share and say and do is for a reason. If there sounds like a contradiction, there isn't. Investigate further. I hope you are all doing well out there. Okay, I want to talk about a few things, but we need to be open-minded now. The more I talk about certain topics, certain material that is metaphysical, supernatural, it's going to help release us from a very rigid concrete reality that was put over our minds like a Faraday cage. You need to be open-minded. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know I love symbology, and I interpretate the day as though I were the dream of the night. I look at the outside world as a screen, and I've got many different methods in investigating, researching for answers. And there's a few, should we say, avenues that I pay attention to in regards to what's going on with reality. For example, the Mandela effect. There is this term used, yeah, we are Mandela affected. But I've had more extreme mystical experiences than the Mandela effect presentation. And so I go to have a look now and then at the Mandela effect to see if there's been any recent changes, and there's hidden messages within these changes. I love symbology. I look at reality totally different to the many because of the works of Father being done in me. I have a depth perception that's enhanced, hypersensitive, and through studying day and night since 2011, going into the ancient texts, forbidden knowledge, studying the secrets and mysteries that's in the Bible and all our spiritual texts, and listening to great mystics, sufis, seers, shamans, and great teachers like Neville Goddard, Leandy Waters, Emmett Fox, and so on. Neil Donner Wash as well. He had some wonderful jigsaw puzzle pieces of gold. But some of these individuals were connected to an age where there was yet more knowledge yet to be received. I'm going to say it like that. Because a lot of, should we say, gurus around what, 2005, 2010 were big, but there was a lot missing, and we had this whole presentation of the secret, etc. But that was only given a glimpse. It was only given a step, and it was misleading because of the lack of knowledge that went with it. I think that's the best way to approach it. Now, the power of thought and imagination, being absorbed in the assumption of the wish fulfilled, to invest in your eternal heavenly home. This is true. But we wasn't aware of the processes and transformations we would have to go through and to come into remembrance, to build this relationship up back with our source, our husband, the Lord, the maker, the creator, okay, married to our soul. Our soul, again, if you're new to the channel, is representative from the Bible as being female. It's the alchemical marriage. So I digress. Back to the Mandela effect. I always pay attention to it to see if there's any changes that may have occurred. And I listen to people's testimonies of their strange anomalies with reality. I like to keep my mind open. And I pay attention to my immediate environment. I'm present, aware, looking for any changes, any potential changes that may have occurred in my immediate environment. Again, I look at the world as a screen, and things are not what they seem. So I came across this earlier. This individual, bless her, and I actually got excited when I was listening to her. I'm one of God's peculiar people. And she talks about her husband's nose. That was always crooked. Now it's straight. And she's like saying, how do I deal with this? I've questioned him about it. And he's given a different story about his nose. And she's like, what do you do with that? And I was like, this is a good sign. And she made a connection with scripture, with noses. And I'm like, again, he makes the path straight. And with it changes like that, it makes me smile, because your current situation can change like that. And I love that. You've got to get away from this concrete, rigid reality that's tried to be put over your mind like a Faraday cage. Reality is fluid. Listening to this wonderful individual share her testimony of these strange transformations with her husband is positive. And I was like, don't question it. If you're happy, be grateful. Like I said, as we go forward, you're going to see extreme supernatural mystical transformations that's going to occur with your life. Like I said, it's going to be like Mandela effect on steroids. Now, this shouldn't be a shock to us. We are prepared for this. So listening to this, I was somewhat excited. Come on. Are we here? Okay. Has there been a wonderful change? I'm still yet to see, should we say, more presentations that I would know we've shifted again into another timeline. So many of us are in a particular state now where we are kind of derobing. We are the star born, a new creature in Christ, fully aware of the nature of reality and the pure potentiality and possibilities, and we are sharing and shining our light and truth. In the beginning of my awakening, and you've heard me say this in a channel if you've been following me for a while, my mum had a neighbour called Veronica, who was a medium. And she told my mum, your son needs these tapes, in whom she knew nothing about. She knew nothing about me. My mum phones me up and says, I was in the army, you need to come down and pick up these tapes from Veronica. And I was like, what are they? She said, I don't know, but apparently it's urgent. You need to pick up these tapes. And I'm so grateful and humble that this happened. I go down on a weekend, I pick up these tapes, and Veronica knew something about me I didn't. Now, there's going to be a reason why I share this with you. I go back home, I start going to work. Funny enough, I had a car with a cassette player. I'm listening to these tapes, and I'm listening to a story about this mystic, and I knew, or should I say, I remembered it was true in what this mystic was saying. I remembered, and then it took me by surprise. Hang on a minute. How am I remembering this? Like, I was aware I'd been through a process of forgetfulness. I was like, hang on a minute, how do I know this? How do I remember? This was a catalyst for my awakening, listening to these tapes. And Veronica knew something about me where she wanted to meet me, but unfortunately she passed before I got the chance. Thank you, Veronica. Blessings and love to you. Then, shortly after that, I was in contact with this individual sharing what I was learning at the time. And this individual started investigating me going into my name, etc., which I found bizarre. And he was into numerology and etc. And I get this message from him. It's you, it's you. Then I never heard from him again. I was like, well, that's strange. Then, years later, I wake up and I keep hearing Ancient of Days, Ancient of Days, Ancient of Days. And I stopped in my bedroom and I was like, Father, what's this about? I know you are the Ancient of Days. I keep hearing Ancient of Days, Ancient of Days. Well, again, ask and it shall be answered. Knock and the door will be open. And then Father revealed to me, he was referring to me, I am the Ancient of Days. Now, at the time, I'm going through horrendous processes and I will not give my ego an inch. So I'm like, well, that's nice. I need to get through this. And I'm carry on learning. Then, one day, in my bedroom, I was stood up by my door and I started receiving memory, intense memory of me coming into worlds to explore and have fun and go back home. And this female entity become present and said, not yet, not yet, not yet. And they cut it off. I was walking along the Rodwell, as I mentioned in the channel, and I had a strong vision of my home. And I was zooming into it. And as I was getting closer and coming into this memory or this scene, I literally slipped in dog's muck. I was like, yeah, cheers for that. Like purposely manifested right there to put me off this remembrance or seeing this vision. I know it. I was distracted. It's like they're saying, not yet, not yet. I'm downstairs and I'm doing some push-ups and sat on the couch afterwards and I'm listening to Chris from See the Light and my mouth dropped what he said. He said he knew me 2,000 years ago and knew my name. I wasn't surprised hearing Chris say this at all. And I'm like, wow, okay. I get that message now loud and clear. I'm still yet to come into great remembrance who I was. I don't think that's really going to affect me in any greater degree with this awakening or this transformation that many of us are going through. I say it like that because remember, we are awake with the sleep, right? And I tried to get this message across. This is in the Secret Teachings of Osiris and in the Bible. It's referred also in this way. We are the living amongst the dead, but I see it, we are awake with those who are asleep. We are yet to come into the land of the living, where those who are asleep will be caught up with us, where everything comes alive. Then greater remembrance and truth will pour forward. That's why I say it like that, because I'm still yet to receive greater remembrance and revelation myself. And I say very humble, and we go forward. I know that I'm here to assist in this transition, this transportation into a wonderful new timeline. Now, as I mentioned in the channel, I know that I come from an ancient Japan, but not a Japan from this world. It was a completely different world that had its own ancient Japan. That may sound strange. And I had 3 brothers. They helped burn the earthly man Adam in a dream one night. I had this dream where I was in a coffin and my brothers, who I knew everything about, we grew up in ancient Japan, threw my body, my coffin in the fire. And I'm so grateful to them for that. Learn to die many times, guys. Write your obituary, all right? Die to the old and be resurrected 3 days later in the new. Key there, okay? I have been an Indian kid. I remember having a strong vision of me as an Indian kid looking at myself in a mirror. These are only avatars, yet who I am here, strange enough, is connected with the end result coming out this space-time continuum, which I'm pleased with a family. And yet I'm Ancient of Days, many eons old. Time is not what you think. When you come from another world, traversing through different worlds with your consciousness downloaded into avatars, time's very different. And by the time you finished your journeys and return home, you have aged your soul to that which is of maturity. For example, if I'm at home and I lay my body down to sleep for the night, but program a particular technology that I'm going to wear and download my consciousness to be in a realm, I can spend a whole lifetime and wake up the next morning. Imagine if I did this a lot. Okay, and yet I'm in a civilization where aging is even longer, prolonged even longer, if not in, it's infinite, eternal, because of the technology. We don't age like we were down in the lower realms, in the simulation, in the holographic, biological, artificial AI matrices termed as SHIELD, the underworlds, because that's what they are referred to. And so I'm receiving a language that this final destination is linked with some sort of very unique process where we're bridged back into this future timeline with a harvest, with many of us who come into this awakening, a transformation from this whole process. And so I don't know what's happened to myself in the future or from this other world. I've made this choice to lay that down for the last time, maybe, or to go through this process to return back in expansion of myself. I'm still yet to come in disclosure of all this, of where we're actually from, and the processes from the beginning that led to the point we find ourselves now. Okay. Yeah, this is deep now. So I'm listening to Quantum Conscience, our brother. Right. I've been listening to Matt for many years now, who breaks down reality. He knows this is not reality. He's got a big thick book with all the strange anomalies that would not happen in reality. And he's been spot on. And he was talking about the monolithic buildings. And it was interesting listening to Matt, because a lot of the symbols on buildings, I love symbology on the monolithic buildings, get your words out. And there is always a message talking about the illusion, that this is a lie. And he's saying no one erected these monolithic sites. I agree. It's a matrix. The matrix itself, when it forms the plane, through the different frequencies in certain areas, you will find these builds already there. It's part of the structure. It's what holds the plane. They're like pins in the crust of the motherboard. That's all I'm going to say about it. I'm not going to get into that. Here is another brother, Jonathan, okay, who wrote a book, Simulation Theory. I've been following him for years. I message him. He's awesome. I agree with so much of the things that he says. I know it to be true. And he made this point through giving a message from an encounter he had. So I'm being careful what to say in our approach this. And he said he was told that when he stops at traffic lights, that the traffic lights act as a loading screen. to erect the environment before him, and then he can go on. And it was these strange individuals who made him aware of this. Now, when I heard this presentation, I knew it was true because of strange anomalies I've had trying to get to a destination, and these strange anomalies with traffic lights, the car playing up when it shouldn't do. And so when I heard this presentation, I was like, yeah, I get it. I see. I'll give some more information. I was supposed to go to a photo shoot before I left the army because I was doing some TV stuff sharing my martial arts. And I was supposed to get to this location, but Spirit wouldn't have it. And the strange anomalies that happened that day, I was like, okay, I get the message. There's a lot to your life and to reality than you could possibly imagine. But you got to get out of that Faraday cage, that concrete old reality that was pulled over your minds from childhood through social engineering, which created a psychological makeup. You are a multi-dimensional star being. We are now derobing as these light star beings, okay, in spirit and in truth, circumcised, meaning we're not these bodies, these garments. We are told this in scripture. We are flipped to the heavenly man, Adam. We are sons of the Most High, and now it's time for the sons of God to rise up. And so now this truth is going forward. It's the rise of the two witnesses. I bear witness to the Father, and the Father bears witness to me. Imagine as a collective. Over the years, we had our heads chopped off because no one wanted to hear it. The system raised up against the truth, a fake, fictitious system with terms used as minions. These entities and the shadow people were trying to stop that which they couldn't. It's impossible, because that which is real and of life, the true gods that were coming back, it was the end of the old world and matrix, which is collapsing. And hence there is a harvest, a branching off, a transition and translation over into the land of the living, into these new ages where we belong, where we can expand in our eternal heavenly homes not made of human hands because of the nature of who we are. Hence, keep watch, because you're going to see some very supernatural, mystical transformations that occur with your life where you're not going to question it because it's fantastic. I'm Kenneth Andre, Tengen Jitsu Master and Mystic Messenger. Love you guys. Have a good day.